Good morning. It's Saturday, Scrap Your Stash. My name is Dawn Leader, and I am a close to my heart maker. And I have decided that this year I'm going to do a Scrap Your Stash Saturday and Wednesday at 5 o'clock Pacific, which is 8 o'clock Eastern. So I'm hoping that you can join me someday. If you do join me, I can't see you in the live because I'm below my camera and I can't see when you pop on. So today I went through my scraps and I have several scraps of timber, and I think this is a mix-in, but timber was in July and August. I have tons of them and they're big scraps, so I decided to do a big scrap card so that I can try to use some of this up. I also have an espresso that's one of the coordinating colors, and then I have a very large white daisy as well. This is just a little less than 12 by 8, I think. So that's what I'm going to be using today. And we're going to be making, like I said, a very large type of Scrap Your Stash card. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these down for you, show you how I cut them. Let's see if I can make sure that these are all in there. So I'm going to put espresso and daisy aside for now, and I'm going to bring in my timber. And I'm going to want these 3.5 by 5.5, so it's going to span the entire card. So there's my 5.5. I'm going to do 3.5. Okay, and this is the flannel with the wood grain on the back. Very cozy. Why don't we make 2? The same card. I'll just do the opposite. So I do 1 wood grain and 1 flannel. So 5.5. And these can be used again, another project. The little strip from the first one, this one, I don't think I'm going to use that, but I will use the other one. So let me throw it in my scrap bin. 5.5 by 3.5. I'm going to go ahead and put those 2 aside. We'll deal with those here in a little bit. I'm going to cut down my espresso. And this is going to be a 3-inch by, let's do 2.25 first. So 2.25 inches by 3 inches. Okay, I need 2 of those. So 2.25 by 3. And then I'm going to put my espresso aside. And I'm going to take the daisy and I'm going to do it 2 inches by 2 3/4. So I'm going to do 2 of these. So there's 2 3/4. 2 3/4. And my daisies can go away for another time. Okay, and that's all I'm going to be using. Now, I am going to bring my daisies back here in a little bit because I'm going to be using those for an embellishment. But let's go ahead and start these cards. We get 2 card bases. So our card bases are like this. They have a little ridge. The ridge goes on the inside. The ridge goes on the inside. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and bring one back. Put these 2 aside for now. And for my Tombow. So I use the Tombow adhesive runner mostly. There are some times where I would use this liquid glue too, but for right now I'm going to use Tombow. So one, I'm going to do one of these cards. I'm going to do the wood grain. And I'm going to snug this all the way up at the top. There's my wood grain. The other one, I'm going to do the flannel. Again, snug it all the way at the top. There it is. Now I'm going to take these and I'm going to dovetail them. Grab my scissors. So these are the microtip scissors. These are the non-stick. I love them. Probably the best scissors I've ever owned. So I'm going to go roughly in the middle. Cut about a 1-inch strip up. Now I'm going to go meet it from the corner there and the corner here. There's that one. Getting about the same. There we go. Okay, so now I have 2 dovetail espresso pieces. I'm going to get my daisy pieces, and the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to line it up. Sorry guys, the lighting is not very good today. Let me see if I can help you out by doing this. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Okay, so the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to line it up so that my espresso is on the bottom, and it's about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, just like I would do if I was just doing it in a square as a frame, basically. I'm going to take it and I'm going to flip it and I'm going to cut this triangle. Okay, that makes sure, actually, that'll make sure that my triangle is the same all the way. You just want to make sure your fingers are in the back are out of the way of that triangle, because you will snip them and they do hurt. Now, I got a little off, so I'm just going to move it just a little bit down farther. See how, for some reason, I must have gotten it a little bit off of the corner there, or I accidentally ripped it for some reason. So I'm just going to move it down just a little bit so that I remove that funky corner. Okay, here's my little banner. There. Now it's the same all the way around. I'm just going to go ahead, while I'm working on this one, I'm just going to go ahead and tape this one down. And I'm just going to leave 1/8 of an inch. The other one, it's going to be a little bit different, most likely. Now, if you only moved it like what I did first, with just 1/8 of an inch down, then you wouldn't have a border down here. So if you want to move it so that there's going to be a border, move it down about 1/4 of an inch, flip it, and cut. And again, this is just how you would get the same dovetail. Now I have the same dovetail all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. It's always good to glue them down immediately, because if you don't, then sometimes you can get confused on which side was front and back on the daisy, and then your your dovetail isn't the same all the way around. So I always try to do it right then. That way I have the correct way, especially on Daisy, because Daisy has no difference on the back. If you were doing like 2 dark colors or 2 light colors, then you'd know that you're using the 2 light colors, but Daisy is it's the same color on the front and back. So I'm actually going to, just thought about this, I'm going to actually use these. You could use them as a card like this, and that would be perfectly acceptable. Put a little sentiment in here, put embellishments down here, whatever you'd like to do. You could even use a stamped border down here. I'm going to use, this was poor planning on my part, espresso on espresso, but I should have used the lighter side. Oh well. That's what happens when you do things on the fly, I guess, huh? So I'm going to go ahead and use them vertically, and I'm going to put them like this, and I'll show you why. It's because the stamp set that I want to use is really the main reason. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these, tape these down, and I like to get as close to those little points as possible. I'm going to put these about a 1/2 inch up, but snug them all the way to the fold. If you like to measure, then you can measure. The Versamat is great for that. Okay, so there's that one. There's this one. I'm going to focus on this one because you can actually see the border. Today, the stamp set that I'm going to be using, it's a Stampin' Thin Cut set. It's this one. It's the Whole Latte Love, and it's out of the new catalog, the January-February catalog, so pretty cute. And what I'm going to be using is the little cup, and there is a thin cut for this, and I have the thin cut, but the cup is pretty straight, so I'm fine with just using scissors on it. So you can make, I think it's actually, some of these, I think it's easier just to cut them out, fussy cut them, than it is to pull my machine out and cut them. So that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to go ahead and get a block. I'm going to use my 3x3. I didn't have to measure that, but this is a brand new stamp set. I just got it last week. Haven't used it yet. So I'm going to season it up. And to do so, you just take it, rub it on your hands. If you don't like roughing your hands up, or your hands are very sensitive, don't worry, you can season it other ways. You can stamp on scrap piece of paper several times. It's just to get that initial stickiness off. There's a really sticky portion of the stamps when you first get them, and it's just from the factory. It's just like a residue, but you want that off of there because you don't want that on there. The ink just won't stick very well. So if you have a Versamat, you can flip it over. If you don't have a Versamat, you use your little foam. So don't throw those things away because they're useful. There is a purpose in them. I'm just gonna ink up my stamp. I actually don't want it on there. I want Scrap Daisy. So I'm going to be cutting it out. My next stamp I'll stamp on there. Okay. And see, and I did get it all the way around the smudging, but that's okay because I'm going to cut this out. Here's my cute little cup. Take my chamois, wipe some of this off so I don't get it anywhere else. Okay, I'm going to use another block for the other one so that I can clean the stamps all at once after the video. It's just easier. You don't waste your guys' time cleaning them. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. This is where I'm going to bring my card back. I'm going to go ahead and stamp both of these because might as well. Now I kind of want, put it way down there. And this is the sentiment that says, "You mocha me smile." Pretty cute. Again, it's brand new. Season it. You can stamp it to the side. There's several ways of getting it seasoned. Okay, I put that away, but maybe I'll use a different color. So one of the coordinating colors is New England Ivy, so maybe I'll use New England Ivy for this. Either that, maybe I'll use Toffee. Toffee might be really pretty, just because it's a coffee theme. Let's do Toffee instead. Could do espresso, but I think there's enough espresso in here that I really kind of don't want to do anymore. I want some contrast here. And doesn't look like I got any smudging on there. There's Mocha Me Smile. And we might as well do that on the other one too, and then I can do another cup too. I forgot to do another cup. Okay, I think we're good there. Now I'm snugging it up because I know that I'm gonna be putting my cup, more or less, so I'm snugging it way over. So if you're wondering why I'm doing that, that is why. Now, if you didn't see the heart in this, it's really cute. It's a little steam. It's just a little steam heart. It's pretty cute. So there's that. Now I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut this cup. If you've never fussy cut before, cut down fairly close to your object, and you're going to hold this with one hand and your scissors with the other. Your scissors will be stationary, and you're just going to rotate with the other hand. You're going to actually physically rotate the paper, and you're going to make your scissors wide, and then that way you have a pretty long cut time, since this is, and I sometimes like to turn my scissors a little bit, angle them a little bit outward so that I can actually see what I'm doing. But like I said, this is a lot of straight lines, very few curves. I mean, the top of course has the curves, but in the very bottom, but sometimes it's easier just to cut it out than use the thin cuts. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to lift it up over here, and it's just going to sit on 3D foam tape over here. I may actually put it up higher just so that it doesn't cover up You Mocha Me Smile, and it'll be a cute little thing. But if you wanted to, you could also use this sleeve so it looks like an actual travel mug that you get at a coffee shop, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to put a couple little squares of adhesive on here, the thin 3D foam. And if you're sending these through the mail, it's always good to use the thin 3D foam tape, not the thicker one or the regular one, because you really need to be conscious about how thick that card is, especially if you have other embellishments or if you're lifting it up 2 or 3 times. Maybe I'll turn this sideways just a little bit. Okay. So You Mocha Me Smile. Oh, pretty cute. So there's my Scrap Your Stash card. It's a larger one. It's with the larger papers. I have quite a few of those that I need to use up, so I'm going to go ahead and make probably tons of these. But if you're wondering where I got the pattern for this one, I did get the pattern since I'm using bigger paper. I got the pattern from the Make It From Your Heart Volume 4. If you haven't checked these out before, they're really, really nice. They have all kinds of different patterns. This one goes up to 20 patterns, I believe, 20, maybe 24 patterns. So at the very beginning is an index. There's a little note from Jeanette, and then here's your index of what cards there are for the sketches. And if you participate in my workshops, then you can see that I use a lot of these a lot of the time. But you know, since I did a Scrap Your Stash that involved a bigger piece of paper, this is why I used this one. But I'll show you the one that I used. The one I used this morning was pattern number 8. And what's really nice about these is that, let me see where, there it is, it's on the other side, part of the book. So I take these out and I lay them up so I can see them, but they also give you examples and little artist tips along the side. So you can really learn a lot from these. Number 5 is coming out very soon. I know we've been really wanting number 5 and anticipating its arrival. I believe it will have some scrapbook sketches too, but if you're looking for scrapbook sketches, volume number 3, volume number 2, and volume number 1 is great. Volume number 2 and 1 and 2, they both have card sketches in them as well, so you can get double purpose in those, and they're all Jeanette's and Close to My Heart's patterns. So very, very fun, very nice to have, especially if you're kind of in a rut for creativity and you just need something to go by for a sketch. So here's my little card, my Mocha, You Mocha Me Smile. I'll probably do some embellishments on here, like some shimmer brush or something. I think it needs a little bit of sparkliness or something. I might even put a border down along the side there. So thanks for joining me this morning, and I hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday and a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.